Hi, I just want to give you an update on my Vanda Varicorn Morellii, which opened yesterday. I featured it in my last update and it was just in bud. And the buds took like about 3 days struggling to open, and then boom, overnight the flowers just opened. And this was well worth the wait. As I've mentioned in my last video, this Vanda seedling was bought 3 years ago from Clouds Orchids, and I bought it because I knew that this Vanda could bloom in a fairly small size, and I guess I was right to buy it because it's rewarded me with 2 flowers. There aren't a lot of flowers, but this plant has had its struggles. But before I go into that, I just want to mention the background of this plant. This Vanda is 50% Vanda Morellii. It has like about 28% Sanderiana and 16% Cerealia. So yeah, so that's the background on the plant, and I'm just going to give you a close-up of the flowers. I'm just going to move this closer to the light. I'm sorry, it's a very dark day today, so I'm having to resort to supplemental lighting to show you the details. The flowers are scented. It's a very odd smell. It's kind of a cross between, I don't know, say root beer and soap. I don't know. It's very odd, and it's very strong. You don't have to be too close to it to smell it. And I was sitting like maybe 6 feet away from it, and I could actually smell it. So it's just being carried away with just a slight breeze, I guess. But they do smell just mostly in the mornings. And the way I grow this plant is it's in a clay pot with some bark, and I just topped it off with some sphagnum moss. I've had some issues with this plant, trying to figure out how to grow it. Most of my other Vandas are not potted. They're just bare root in a small pot, and I just soak the plants a few times a week, sometimes overnight, sometimes just for a few hours, whenever I have time, and there's usually fertilizer in the water. But this one, it didn't like that regimen, so I had to try something, because it was basically going to be tossed in the springtime because it was really not doing all that well. But ever since it's been in this pot, it's done really, really well, and has some beautiful roots. There's a nice root here, and the one that's digging into a pot. This back one has been growing on and off, so, but I think it's doing okay. The splotches that you see on the leaves here, let me turn the plant. I don't know, I think once I watered this and it was kind of a coolish day, and I started seeing these black marks, and I had to cut this leaf here because it was just too ugly. But some of it might be sunburn, because this Vanda, unlike a lot of other Vandas, does not like a lot of direct sun. It prefers my supplemental lighting and basically later day direct sun, and that seems to be the winning combination for this plant. I do believe this came from the vendor Carmela initially, and probably was grown from a compote or compote of seedlings, which Cloud grew and sold. And so there are some examples of this on Blunanta, which is a website where I normally look at to see the parentage of orchids. Orchidea also has a website for if you want to look up the background of certain vandas. But there were a lot of pictures and on Blunanta, and I was able to see that this is pretty much what this looks like. I think this is probably the smaller version of this, the smaller version flowers. I think there's some pictures of some really large plants, and the flowers look a little different, maybe bigger. I don't know. It's kind of hard to get perspective when you're looking at pictures, but they're all basically brown flowers. Sometimes some are darker, almost burgundy, but the vast majority are brown. So anyways, I love the details of these flowers, and I don't recommend people buying a lot of seedlings, because unless you really know what you're doing, you're gonna lose quite a few of them. And I did. I lost a lot of seedlings. Some didn't root, some got attacked by pests and I couldn't get rid of the pests. But this one somehow managed to make it through all of its struggles and made it through for this blooming. So anyways, so that's my Vanda Varicorn Morellii. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a nice day.